Nightcall is a game developed by Monkey Moon and published by Raw Fury. You're a taxi driver that works the illustrious night shift. Some things happen, and now you have to use your taxi powers to gather information about a famous serial killer so the cops can finally catch them. The main gameplay loop has you picking up passengers and having chats with them visual novel style. Each passenger is a colorful character full of secrets. In the backseat of gameplay sits the investigation. You get information from your passengers or your informant, and you lay the information out on a corkboard to try and determine who the killer is. This part of the game doesn't feel too great, as information usually isn't given to you in interesting ways. Often you just walk into a gas station and talk to the clerk about the killer, then get a generic clue. This leads to the conclusion of the case feeling a bit unearned, as you don't actually feel like you accomplished anything, or at least I didn't. Thus, the most fun I had with the game is interacting with all of the very different characters you can pick up in your cab. They all have their own story, and it's more interesting to pick through that rather than worry about who the killer is. The game, as of July 26, 2019, had a few pretty serious bugs. If someone spawns outside of the map asking for a ride, you can't actually get to them because no roads lead there. I even had one notorious passenger who would softlock the game anytime I tried to pick him up. His name was Beret Boy. I can only assume he beat me over the head and stole my taxi. Nightcall is an interesting experience if you're there for character interaction rather than an overarching narrative. The narrative sort of falls apart by the end, leaving you to drive around the rubble to get to the more interesting stuff. If the idea of a weak narrative turns you off, I would steer away from Nightcall and choose something else.